Hi, and welcome to Corporate Expat Mom Broadcast. I'm your host, Elena Gomez Rodriguez. I'm a trauma informed mental fitness coach. And today I'm going to share a bit of my own story as well, as you might have seen in the description. Because I also felt there were a lot of times in my life actually where I felt like a victim of it all. My life felt too heavy to get up and try to see a way out. I was burning out and I didn't see how it could change. So if this is you or somebody you know, care about, work with, then listen in. This short video is meant to help. As always, we will start by talking about the strengths. So what are the strengths that actually make us get stuck in this victim mode, which that's what it is actually, really, even though I wouldn't want to hear it back then. But the strengths are sensitivity. So usually the one who has tendency to drown in that sadness, in the feelings of difficulty, it's the one who's sensitive, who's not afraid to feel the feelings fully, especially the negative ones. That's also related to the introspection. So the ability to go and analyze and figure out what is it that I'm really feeling. An appreciation of uniqueness of yourself and others. Like you see how you are different, how you're unique, and you can appreciate that uniqueness in others as well. Those are strengths. So, not to be confused, if these are driven by your mind that's calm, that's positive, and that's well balanced, all of these are strengths. And you want to have them in your life, and you want to have people in your life who have these strengths as well, because these are important. However, as with any other strength, the moment you start overusing it, it becomes your weakness, your blind spot, your Achilles. And that's what we will talk about today. How you keep your strengths of introspection and having the ability to feel deeply without it sabotaging you in the long run, without it beating you down and making you feel like there's something wrong with you and things have to be difficult and life is hard. And if it's easy, then then it's too good to be true. How to balance that. That's what we will talk about. And I want to be very careful not to make it feel like I'm judging you if you feel like you're finding yourself in that situation as well. Far from. This is not a criticism or pointing fingers. I've been there myself as well. And I was sharing my own example. Living abroad, I was a workaholic and I decided to leave my job and start my own business. So it's like the weight on my shoulders. And I felt like it's becoming a little too much, and poor me, and trying to get attention and some compassion from people outside. Anybody who was asking the question, well, how are you doing or how is it going? Then I was always going into that poor me mode, because I wanted them to recognize how hard it is, how hard I'm working and how tough, and like, wow, and you're doing great despite all of that. That's what I was getting out of it. That was the benefit. So maybe one of the questions I would have for you, what is the benefit that you are getting out of being stuck with those dark clouds and heavy load on your shoulders? What benefits are you getting from that situation? Because that was my first aha moment when I realized that, well, this is what I'm getting. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's tough. But there are people who have it even harder and they don't complain about it. I was complaining about it because I wanted the recognition from the outside. I wanted at least some tap on my shoulder, because it seemed like it was expected. Of course, all working moms have it difficult. Like, of course, we all do. What do you want? You want tap on your shoulder? Just shut up and keep going. I wanted that recognition. So that's what my victim voice in my head, what was trying to get me, like at least some of that affection and attention. So there's no judging here. I'm coming from a place of love and compassion. So step number one, how to really turn it around. and keep your strength and get the recognition, get the attention, get the approval, get the love, but using another way that will not cost you that much energy, because this is drowning. It costs a lot of energy to keep yourself down, actually. At least that's how I felt. So step number 1, understand what's underneath. As with any other saboteur, so here we come to the mental fitness piece of what I'm doing. Or rather, let's say the trauma-informed piece, because this is not necessarily a trauma, but there is usually some kind of trauma back in the childhood. We all grow up having the victim voice in our heads, even those who didn't go through any trauma, because this is natural reaction. Imagine, like, go back thinking, like, when you were little, you got hurt, so coming back to your mommy or daddy, showing them the boo-boo, and they give you a kiss and they give you a hug, maybe if when even though they were upset that you did something you were not supposed to do and you got hurt, but they didn't get upset with you, they got you some comfort instead. So it was a brilliant strategy also, how to overdo it sometimes. And that's how you learned that being hurt, being in pain, and showing your negative emotions, like, it got you something positive. So that's where it started getting conditioned. We all have it to some degree. So again, no judging here. We all have the victim in us in some way, that victim strategy. And we all tend to use it from time to time, let's be honest. But if in your childhood you were really felt that you were not seen, you were not understood, you were the odd kid out, you were left out, you did not feel like you belonged, and it was somehow made you feel that it was your fault because you were somehow uniquely weird, different, bad, terribly wrong, there was something wrong with you, that's what would be an excellent breeding ground for your victim saboteur in your head to get even stronger and to tell you, well, I told you, there is something wrong with you, there's something unique, and showing others that actually at least it will get you some sympathy and some attention from others. So let's go into that. Let's show others how poor you and what a martyr you are, because it will get you some attention at least. Because otherwise people are bad, they will leave you, they will not care. So let's squeeze out at least some of that attention from some of them who will be sensitive to seeing how much you're suffering. That's what's underneath the victim. Now, the way to fight that victim voice in your head is to see its lies, and I'm going to show you. The typical lies is, I'm alone, nobody understands. And so you get into the sadness, self-pity, feeling down. There's also oftentimes an envy or negative comparison. Like, for me, it's hard. How come somebody can have it easy? That's not fair. See, so constantly comparing and being envious if somebody has it easier or better, those are all signs, those are all voices of the victim in your head that you want to get rid of. So after step 1, having the awareness of what's underneath that, step 2, see what those lies cost you. See the impact. Because even though it's telling you that you will get some attention and affection from being in the victim mode, it actually has, in the long term, it has the exact opposite effect. Because people get frustrated, feeling helpless, and guilty, because every time they try to help you, it will be just like putting a band-aid on you. It will not work in the long term, because soon you will go back to your victim mode. Like, if people would give me the tap on my shoulder, I would be like, I would calm down for a while, but then I would sink back into my misery and black clouds hanging all over my head and everywhere around. And people would get tired with that sooner or later, depending on how much they really cared about me. So the lie is, in the saboteur, the victim in your head, actually in a long term causes you the exact opposite of what it tells you that it can do for you, because it will push people away. It will become a self-fulfilling prophecy, because they will be those people, they will leave. Like they will get fed up at some point by trying to console you and comfort you, because they will see there's no end to your misery, and they will feel helpless, so that will push them away. So as a result, you will end up with less connection, with less love and less affection, and the victim in your head will say, you see, I told you. It will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So watch out for that. This is the cost of the victim. And from another angle, where it also costs you, is that by believing that life is hard, nothing comes easy, and if it does, then it's too good to be true, you put a filter, as if like you had a filter on in front of your eyes, some glasses. It will not let you see opportunities for having it easier, having an easier way that's less stressful, way to get help, people who you could connect with in a meaningful way. You will not see that. Because if the belief in your head that you walk around with is life is hard, then you will not see where life might be easy. See, so that's another way how it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and how it keeps recreating your reality. Those lies and those false beliefs, they actually make your life so. So yes, then for you, it is the reality. Life is hard. Because even if there was an easier way, you wouldn't take it. You wouldn't even see it. You wouldn't consider it. You wouldn't trust it, believe it. You would just dismiss it. And you would keep digging heavily and not getting anywhere, because you wouldn't see there's an easier way. You see, that's why it's so important to expose those lies. That's why it's really step one, see what's underneath. Step two, see what it's costing you, and recognize it's the victim's head in your voice. It's not you. And it's not true. That's not the reality. The reality is shaped by your beliefs, and these beliefs don't help you get where you want to get. Okay? Important step number 2. Difficult to get there. If you're still with me, step 3 is the ongoing. This is what you need to keep doing from now on, from today on. Keep catching the lies. Anytime you feel like you want to complain to somebody, or even to yourself, that story, you're washing the dishes again after spending hours cooking, and then nobody appreciates it, and like, poor me, why do I even bother? And nobody appreciates, nobody is here to help me. Stop that very second and see it. This is your victim voice. Where was an easier way that you could have taken before, but that would be a judge beating you down? Where is the easier way that you can take right now to not be the victim? Is there somebody you can tell to go and wash the dishes? Or is there something that you can change in the future? Maybe do not cook that dinner that take 2 hours to cook, and like even 1 hour to go shopping before, or because nobody appreciates it anywhere. Anyways. So what is an easier way? Where is it that you are actually making it harder and more difficult for yourself than you would have to? So catch those lies. Some of the questions that might help you. To get out of the negative mode, start balancing it with the positive things. What is the gift of my journey? What is the gift of this struggle in this very moment? And it's not to pretend that life is full of rainbows and unicorns and there's no pain in the world. No, but you need to start balancing it off. Also, it's not true that life is only dark and black and there are only ugly, inhuman people around here. Like, and especially these days, it would be easy to slip there and believe. Start looking for and accepting what's positive, what's good. Start looking for the gift in your struggle. For me specifically, it was all it took was just to reframe, to realize that instead of feeling sorry for myself, I was actually the lucky one. I started building my business. I had the flexibility to do my hours. I had the flexibility to be with my daughter and spend more time with her, other than the moms who didn't have that option and had to stay in the corporate job and had to keep working long days and often weekends. I didn't have to. There's always so much judgment about people's choices, and especially moms who want to work, or moms who decide to stay at home, mom who decide to change country and go live abroad. There's so much judgment and so much criticism, and sometimes we start judging and criticizing ourselves even before others do. So where is it that there's a gift in your current situation? What is great about it? And even if there is a pain, what is it that you're learning from that pain that will help you in the future, that will make it worth it? Okay, question number 1. And question number 2, how to celebrate you being unique without separating yourself from others. Because the victim, and I felt it when I was feeling so down and burned out, I used it to feel myself special, to feel that I'm in a unique position and that's why I'm paying the price, but it's worth it because I'm special. I'm better than others. So how can you celebrate your uniqueness without creating that wall, like me, that's me, and that's others, they are different? Because that's what causes that loneliness, that you're feeling alone even in a crowd full of people who care about you. So how do you balance these two? How can you combine them? That's the beauty. You're unique and you're human at the same time. We all are. So those are my tips. And the last one, I'm going to show you as well. Even in your darkest days, what is that 1% that's good about it? And it comes back to my earlier point, because there's nothing that's 100% black. That's what children, we have to teach children when they are young. They see the black and white, like good and bad. And then at a certain age, you have to start explaining that there's actually not good and bad. We all have it. And in reality, it's all around us. There's no black and white. There are rainbows everywhere. There are 50 shades of gray and other colors. So what is that? At least 1%, 5%, 10% of what's good in this. And that will take you the energy to get out of there. Because focusing, we are not pretending that maybe there's 9% of the situation that's bad, but by focusing only on that, you give your power away. You have no energy to do anything, because it's like, it's a waste of time anyways, it's useless, and it's going down the drain, so hands up, hair on fire, nothing I can do. The moment you admit there is something positive, there is something you can do about it, that's that little percentage of positive thing that will give you the energy to get up and do something. You take your power back. This is the empowerment and all the power that coaches talk about. You take the power back by seeing where it is positive, where it is that you can take some action. Okay. So, few more questions for reflection. Even though victim might not be the strongest voice in your head, you might have, like I do, my stronger ones are hyperachiever, perfectionist, judge. You might have all these other challenging voices in your head that are louder than victim, but do explore, where does your victim show up? How is it? How strong is it? If you'd like to share here with me in comments, or if you want to share with me personally and dive deeper, then this is my email address. And one more disclaimer, if you are feeling depressed most of the time, which actually they say that depression is repressed rage or anger that couldn't be expressed, that you felt like it was not safe to express, you were punished for expressing it when you were a child especially, you locked it in. That's what depression is about. If you're feeling sad, self-pity, burnout, like do reach out. Okay, do reach out to a local specialist, somebody, or ask your employer. There are mental health departments, sections in companies, or in your medical center. Just go and get help. This is not a substitute for specialized mental health assistance. Okay, so this is my invitation for you as well. Good. And mental fitness, credits to its founder and genius behind, Shirzad Shamin. Thank you, Shirzad. Very useful for me and for others. And I'll see you next Friday. So take care. Explore your victim. Try to stop its sabotage. Here you got 3 steps and lots of tips. So let me know how it worked for you. Focus on the victim in the next days. Try to turn it around. I'm wishing you best of luck. May the force be with you. Bye.